Hello, I'm Mike Bain from Christian Voice New Zealand. You know, it's all starting to make sense why many churches are closing and locking their doors. Church is soon to become redundant. Sundays will no longer be the day that you and I go to church. The term minister, pastor, even congregation, even God will no longer be a part of our vocabulary. And like the moon landing, everyone's going to be sceptical when they point to the closed down, boarded up vestiges of Christianity, and their children will ask, what was God? I see you think I'm kidding, but let me assure you, I'm not. Today we're living in a significant time in history. It may not feel that way to you, but let me explain why I say it is. Now, I've been watching the so-called signs of the times for a few decades, but nothing compares to the last 5 to 10 years. Events have been stunning and game-changing. 2024 has become a stunner in many ways, and many events remind me that the world is running out of time before the last act of a major drama plays out. In other words, the church age is winding down. Now, what do I mean by the church age? Let me explain it to you. The church age is a term used by some Christians to describe the current period of God's dealings with humanity through the church. Now, this era, which started from the day of Pentecost, is characterized by the spread of Christianity and the establishment of the church. And key indicators suggesting the end of this age include a significant decline in traditional Christian values, increased secularism, moral decay, and the rise of global crisis. These changes align with biblical prophecies predicting the end times. So, in order for you to understand, let me highlight just 10 events from this current year that have convinced me of this. Number 1, Israel is alone. After she was brutally attacked in October of 2023, one would have thought that the world would rally to her side. Well, not so. Not even America is now her ally. The US is withholding weapons and intelligence. The International Criminal Court wants to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu back in May just for defending his country. The European Union, the United Nations and the World Economic Forum and the International Court of Justice have all denounced the Jewish state just for wanting to wipe out Hamas thugs. Zechariah 12:3 is in play here. She is isolated and is the world's burdensome stone. Number 2, the spirit of the Antichrist has been loosed on the earth. Now, the headquarters appear to be America. In the United States, it shows the world just how to tear apart things like college campuses and how corrupt government should work. Number 3, there's a new level of evil calling good and good evil, Isaiah 5:20. Hamas is celebrated around the world. Christians are persecuted like never before. Islam is glorified, particularly on college campuses. Those who protest abortions are jailed. The White House and UN mourn the death of Iran's President Raisi on March the 19th. Remember him? He was the butcher of Tehran. Number 4, the world is leaderless. There's not one global leader to whom the world looks. Governments everywhere operate like the Keystone Cops. World War III could easily erupt as a result. The world is unsure of just who's running the White House these days, as the stage is being set for a Mr. Fix-It, whom the world will celebrate. And they just want stability. And they just want stability and someone in charge to enforce peace and security. Number 5, there's a rush to global government, and strangely, unusual power is being given to the corrupt World Health Organization, who could end up being the leader of the world. You know, they met in May, and they could use another pandemic to unite the world. The stage was set with COVID. They've targeted 2025 as a possible timeline. Number 6, artificial intelligence is being refined to rule the world. The goal is that it will be smarter than mankind, and the Antichrist will need this system to run his global kingdom. Even now, things like Microsoft Copilot, their AI demands it to be worshipped. Number 7, departing from an accepted standard. Deviance, the abnormal, the twisted, the warped and perverted. This somewhat aberrant behaviour is celebrated as normal, as those who participate expects it to be the world standard. And the predicted end-time decline of man's character, we're watching the homosexual and trans movement be hailed, and the lovers of biblical values be persecuted and jailed. The sanctity of life is scoffed at. As predicted, mankind lives for money and power at the expense of everyone and anyone. Number 8. Too many churches are majoring in minors and furthering unsound doctrine. There are wolves among the flock. Church members hear about their best life now, about being purpose-driven, and about attracting seekers to church. Sinners avoided. Eschatology, that's Bible prophecy, is scoffed at and marginalised. The pulpits are woke. End-time apostasy is the new norm in the church. Number 9. A new way of doing business is waiting in the wings. Yes, it is. And it's going to be cashless. You've seen this coming. It'll be crypto. It'll be blockchain so that it tracks you at every purchase. It could be in play very soon if it's not already here. The Reserve Bank of New Zealand has been working towards making New Zealand a cashless society and is now ready to go. Already, we experience retailers who just won't accept cash. Just watch the money world. When the US goes cashless, we'll be close behind, and then your life will be dramatically changed. The proposed central bank digital currency, CBDC, will be at the heart of the beast system, and that could happen any day from now on. Number 10, the violence of the days of Noah is upon us. Criminal numbers are increasing in New Zealand as they are everywhere else in the world. Cities like Auckland are ravaged by crime. We see big-name chain stores closing down retail premises and withdrawing from even small towns due to theft and lawlessness. Society is on the move. We see it with migration in and out of our country. People arriving here, fleeing from wherever because it's safe. Meantime, those who were born here, well, they're leaving for the same reasons, and they're relocating to perceived safe cities just to lead a more normal life away from all this mayhem. I could list 110 markers to watch throughout the balance of 2024, but because you can see it, whether you recognise it or not. Look, for many, your heads are in the sand. You just can't believe it. You just don't want to know, but it's happening. And surprise, surprise, it's going to have an impact on you as well as me. I've been watching these so-called signs of the times for a few decades. Nothing compares to the last 5 to 10 years. Events have been stunning and game-changing. If it helps neutralise the bad news, these things are happening because the stage is being set for the closing act of a global drama. Pretty soon you're going to hear the sound of a trumpet. It won't be Louis Armstrong, but a trumpet will soon sound, and for many Christians, they believe at this time the age of the church is done. It's time to lock the church doors, just as Noah closed the door on the ark. It was over, and just as the rain fell, the water carried Noah and his family. Likewise, the church will be raptured, escape this scenario to enjoy the wonder of heaven. But here's the sad part. Every one of us will leave someone behind who will have to cope with trial and turmoil. That is why, as Christians today, we need to be awake to the time in which we live and be diligent and forthright and share the gospel. It should be the first order of business when it comes to being about our Father's business.